Hello and welcome to Epic Battlecry. This is the place where we cut through the crap to bring you the real deal on the gaming industry today.
What up?
I'm your host, Tony Grice, and with me, as always, is Daniel Kaiser and Brent Adams.
Yeah.
And it is...
Yes.
Yeah, it is July 7th, 2014, and this is the first of our new format. So let's go ahead and jump right in.
Let's do it.
We've got our first question comes from Tim Albers, aka @SundancerGE, and he asked the old Axe crew, if you had to choose one gaming device for the rest of your life, what would that be? So I tell you what, DK, you want to kind of start us off? What are you leaning towards?
Well, you know, when I saw this question, and by the way, you know, obviously our format now is like you send us questions, we give you answers, done. So we're really excited about this because we get to interact with people like Timmy,
and also
Timmy.
Because we're going to be edging out Radio Shack in the near future.
There you go. But when I first saw this question, I really pondered this for a while. There's lots of factors. So you say choose one gaming device for the rest of your life. Does that mean it's like like gaming consoles have changed a lot in recent generations? So the thing about the Xbox One, PS4 that immediately writes them off for me is their reliance on connectivity. This to me is very akin to the famous question, if you were on a desert, you know, a tropical island, what would you pick? So when I envision myself in that scenario, there's no internet, there's no nothing.
Hang on, I'm reading this question. There's nothing about a fucking desert island in here. Do I have the right document? Or
well, no, but I think this is good because I did take it slightly a different way, I think, than DK, at least. Not, Brent, you may have too. So go ahead, though. So kind of go with what you're thinking.
That's the way I took it. So for me, I said, okay, well, which console had the best games, the biggest library of games, and the most diverse type of experiences that didn't rely on connectivity and also, you know, was super, super fun. And for me personally, just personally speaking, it really kind of is either the Super Nintendo or the original Sony PlayStation. And that's because, like, you know, and I guess when I started narrowing those down, I came down to the original Sony PlayStation because it was more advanced. When I think of games like the original Tomb Raider, the original Metal Gear, all those sports games that I loved, like, to me, that's when, you know, sports games were kind of at their pinnacle.
Resident Evil.
I mean,
Tenshu. Jesus.
Yes. Bushido Blade. You know, all these amazing games. If I had one console to kind of play forever,
I'm just going to just rattle off names of things for the rest of the
just randomly pull the PlayStation on.
You're making getting footage for this episode harder on yourself.
I'm just heading over to the Wikipedia PlayStation game page, and I'm just naming things.
But does that make sense to you guys? Like,
I think
no. I mean, it's a terrible idea, but keep talking.
Yeah, no, but I mean, to me,
no, I agree. I think it's a good idea.
How are you going with either of those over the TurboGrafx 16? Because that system you could have a portable version of and play the exact same games. So, and it's from the same era as the Super NES. So I mean, if you're going to go with anything, don't you have to go with the TurboGrafx 16 if you don't have any hope of mobile gaming?
No.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm not with you there, Brent.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Brent, what was yours? What were you kind of leaning towards?
For me, it would be a PC. You know,
I think you might have had the same idea that I have, or at least did some.
As I
but
seriously
what if you don't have parts? Oh, well, okay, you're not.
Well, yeah, but what if you don't have fucking power?
Well, what if you don't have a
like
fucking desert island? Then your answer doesn't make sense either.
This isn't like, you know, if you had to carry around one brick of electronics that does nothing for you. This is like you're assuming the system works. You know?
Listen, the question is not if you had to walk from the northernmost point on planet Earth to the southernmost and you only had one game console. That is not what he is asking.
That's true.
So from my perspective, and having been a PC gamer in my youth and then having come back to PC gaming in the last few years, I can say two things. Number one, there are certain game experiences that I love that more often than not are only available on PC. And number two, the diversity of game experiences available on PC, whether that is, you know, playing emulators and, you know, being able to play every Super NES game that ever was, or every PlayStation game that ever was, or even, you know, just tapping into, you know, quirky little indie games, you know, homemade titles and things like that that people put together, stuff like a Bobo's Big Adventure, you know, all of those library of games, whether it's Flash games or you know, games programmed natively. In terms of diversity of content, of being able to play as many different types of things as I possibly could. I just can't see a single game console encapsulating as much as I could do with a PC.
Yeah.
And
kind of a loophole answer, don't you think? But I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I admit, because I'm in that same boat. Like,
it does not say gaming console; it says gaming device.
You're right. You actually you read each letter of this. With
yes, unlike you two, I read this question.
No, I didn't complain. I think the point is, if you are playing the sort of the cheat, if you will, a PC, because I mean, you can emulate everything up till like
all
last
those games
gen.
I mentioned were
you can play exactly everything you mentioned, plus everything Brent's mentioned, plus a shit ton more that plus none of us have. I mean, like you can play just about everything. Now, wait,
you can do porn on PCs? Hey, listen, can you finish this episode without me? Because
the one thing I was gonna. The one thing I was going to say, though, is I think that's a great point, because I'll be honest with you, I put 2 answers, and my sort of cheat answer is PC, because one, I love emulators. I love the filters you can do. I mean, if I could play it on hardware, 99% of the time I'd prefer to do that. But to be brutally honest with you, dragging the systems out, getting them all hooked up, then putting them away when you're done, getting another system out, I got to be honest, like the one thing I love about a PC is you can have all that stuff, on your system, have your ROMs, have everything else, have your, I mean, this is assuming that you have internet, assuming that you have, the ability to get this stuff, which, so anyway, I think that is a bit of a cheat, but I put the same thing, Brent. I was in the same kind of page with you there. Yeah. Now, if I said my kind of answer, what I think is a little more in the spirit of the question, it'd be a PS3, and more specifically, like the first gen PS3. Backward compatible PS3, because you've got all the PS1, all your PS2, and all your PS3, like
all running natively on hardware.
Absolutely, and the thing I love is, like, Daniel, you went down. Well, both of you listed off.
I usually do.
Some of my favorite games of all time. Yeah. Like Einhander, one of my favorite shooters of all time. Metal Gear Solid, one of my favorite experiences of all time. Like we've talked before about ordering the import version and playing it in Japanese.
Still one of my best gaming memories to this day.
Absolutely.
Up there with beating your ass in Wipeout with the Nedge.
Oh God, I somehow knew that was coming out.
He will never ever let you forget.
But seriously, I love the fact that you can play all of those games. The PS2 for me was a little bit of the PS2 is not nearly as memorable for me as the PS1, but the PS3 kind of got back into that same sort of. I feel like I'll look back on the PS3 generation more like that I look back on the PS1 generation now. Like there's so many really good titles that were really stuff I really was interested about. So that would probably be mine, is a backward compatible PS3, because you just have this just huge library. I even thought about saying the Game Boy Advance, because then you've got like every Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. You've got like these huge libraries. Like you can.
And it's a lot easier.
There's a lot of sort of cheats to it.
It's the only one you have for the rest of your life. So when you get old and shit, it's like it's easy to just like whip it out.
I don't know. I'm almost positive that's not the way it works.
All right. Well, I hope Tim, I hope that gave you kind of some insight on how we felt about that, and be interesting to hear what you had to say. I'm not sure. I don't think you listed what yours was. It'd be kind of interesting to know what everybody else feels about it. So
hit us up on Twitter if you have some answers to that question, or on the blog post, or wherever the hell you want, because we could do whatever the hell we want now. So there you go.
All right, guys. Well, that is going to wrap it up for today's skirmish. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us, and please join us again tomorrow, when we'll have another comment from you guys. And as always, cry havoc and come back tomorrow.
We'll see you.
Because that'll be important for this to work. If you don't come back tomorrow, this has kind of failed miserably.
I was going to say that the speed bumps of this new format have immediately become apparent to me.
Da-dunk.